So I left from my mission from Arizona and came home. My mom and dad had moved to Salt Lake City. I was 21. 21, just got home from my mission. My dad came to me one day and he said, "Gary, I want you to give your things and I want you to leave the house. I don't want you to come back. It's time you grow up and be a man and get out on your own." What he did to me that day was one of the best things he could have ever done for me, because I knew the next morning when I got up that if I was going to go to college, and I was determined to go, if I was going to go to college and get a college education and make something of my life, I had to get up every morning and say, I'm going to make some money and I'm going to get good grades and go to school. When I was in high school, Weston, I didn't get very good grades. I wasn't a very good student. I was part of the parking lot gang. When I went to my counselor when it came time to graduate, I was to my high school counselor. He said, "Gary, what do you want to do? You're graduating this year." And I said, "Well, I want to go to college." And you know what my high school counselor said? "No, you can't go to college. Your grades aren't good enough. Your dad's the jeweler, isn't he, in Chandler?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, I think you ought to plan on going to work for your dad at the jewelry store because you can't go to college." And when I left that interview with my counselor, I was offended that he told me I couldn't go to college, because I always saw myself, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to do something with my life. My mission president wrote me a letter to BYU, and BYU said they would admit me with my grades. But I didn't have the money, and I didn't have a job. I was determined, and I knew I could do it. And so I worked as a janitor at the U, and so I worked at school. I even slept there a few nights a week. They let me sleep in the closet. I didn't have anything. I mean, I was nothing. That's all I did was study and work. At the end of the first quarter, my grades were 3.85, which is about an A. I then didn't have any money to pay for tuition, so I had applied for what they call an equal opportunity grant. I gave them my parents' tax return, which had no income. They were broke. And so based on financial aid and a 3.85 average the first quarter, I got an equal opportunity grant that paid for my tuition. 4 years later, when it came time to graduate, I went back to that high school counselor. And she saw that and she said, "Wait a minute, I have to go make a copy of that. There's something wrong here. You weren't supposed to succeed. How did you do it?"
He was a hard worker, serious and dedicated, and one of the most humble missionaries I'd ever met. They saw his love for others, his ability to see the good in everyone. My dad was the best speaker and storyteller I know. He lived what he believed.
Gary was the best father a boy, a young man, and an old man could ever ask for. Gary taught me early on that long-term happiness would not come from youth sports, but it would come from an education, hard work, a mission, a family, and the gospel. Gary Wright taught me about what would bring lifelong happiness. Gary Wright taught me to look forward to the future. He knew that an education would prepare me to make a living in this world. Gary taught me silent, selfless service.
He motivated ordinary people to do extraordinary things. He was a passionate listener. He was genuinely interested in and cared about people. He was the peacemaker.
From these invaluable teachings, we learn that because Grandpa was righteous and because he kept his covenants, we know that he is in a place full of happiness. He is in that part of the spirit world called paradise.
Don't ever let anyone ever tell you you can't do something. If you want to do it and you want to do it bad enough, and if you're willing to do what it takes, you can do it.